Hello YouTube! Today on the Naughty Librarian, I am going over my Smutty September TBR list. So for those of you who've been here for a little while and those of you who are new, every September on this channel I dedicate to Smutty September, because why not? So what does Smutty September mean? It means basically I read a lot of smutty books, I enjoy smut, it's a smut appreciation month, so to speak. So be ready for some smutty content coming your way, and all the smutty books I'm gonna read. Let's get into like September TBR. Let's start things off right with the next episode of Drunk Classics, which is going to be Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence, which I think is the perfect Smutty September Classics pick. Am I right? I'm totally right. I don't know much about the book, honestly. I know there's an affair and it's supposed to be steamy, and I think it's like they're dealing with like classes in society a bit as well. But what I do know is this book is so pretty. I have the Penguin Clothbound Classics edition. It is gorgeous. I'm obsessed right now. This will be you know, I don't know what day I'm going to do it when I'm filming this video, so on the screen is the day I will be premiering the next episode of Drunk Classics if you want to read it and hang out, or hey, if you just want to just watch me be drunk and read it, you're free to join. While we're talking about future events, let's talk about the book of the month for the Blades and Bodice Rippers book club, which is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. This one was picked by Leanna, so it's going to be on Leanna's channel on September 25th, which is the last Saturday of the month. Same time as usual, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be discussing this one, and you know, it's a fantasy, obviously. So we're essentially following this guy named Maya, and he is like the youngest born son of this king, and like he hasn't spent any time at court. He doesn't know his father. He's off doing his own thing. And wouldn't you know, his father and 3 older half-brothers all die. So he's like, wait, I'm emperor now? What? So now he's emperor, and he's like, oh no, like things are afoot here, because like they all kind of died under very suspicious circumstances. So he's like, okay, so now I'm emperor and someone's trying to kill me? Like he's having a doozy of a day here. But it's like a cool new fantasy world. Like honestly, there's a 24-page like encyclopedia at the beginning of this book, and it talks about like how the forms of address work in this world, the names, like how the language works. So there's a lot of world building that's gone on here, and you know, I'm excited to read it. Fingers crossed I love it. Fingers crossed. Like I really want to. We have a hard time picking a book that everyone in the book club likes equally, so fingers crossed. We're always excited and we always hope the next book is going to be the book, you know? Alright, so business over, let's get into all of the smutty delights I'm going to be enjoying this month. First things first, I have The Beast of Besswick by Emily Howard, and this is a book that has been on my radar for quite some time. I see Emily Howard kind of advertised in the same way as Stacey Reid, and I'm like super into Stacey Reid right now, so I'm like, okay, Emily Howard, let's see what you got. So this one is Astrid and Nathaniel, and Nathaniel, scarred duke. I love a good scarred duke. I don't know what that says about me as a human, but I like a scarred duke. And he's just like a grumpy Gus, and he's like walking around his house, being an a-hole, smashing plates, doing all that stuff, because you know he's a duke. I guess they do that. And then you have Astrid, and she just like barges into this house, and she's like, listen up, fucko. I know you're betrothed to my sister, but you are a hot mess of a human, and you need to get your shit together. So I don't trust you to like marry my sister, so guess what? We's getting married, homie. So I am loving that relationship already. I love that. So I'm very excited. I feel like it's a very forceful, sassy heroine, scarred duke, and like things are gonna happen, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna just do it a lot, and I'm so excited. Also on deck, I have The Dating Playbook by Farah Roshan. This is kind of the sequel to The Boyfriend Project, which came out, I believe, in last year? Yeah, it came out in 2020, and I really enjoyed that book, so I wanted to continue on with the series. So this one is Taylor and Jamar. So Taylor, she's a sports therapist, so like physical therapist, like that. And Jamar was a former kind of football star, and he's like, I need to get back in the NFL, so you are going to work with me, physical therapy, all that stuff. I'm going to get back on my team. It's going to be great. And Taylor's fine with that because frankly, she needs the money. So they're working together. The only caveat is like, I can't have anybody know I'm doing physical therapy because it'll hurt my chances. So inevitably they get caught together. And so the fake dating challenge begins. So they have to come up with a reason why they're together. And it's like, I'm his girlfriend. We're dating. I'm his girlfriend. That's why we're together. I'm not doing physical therapy. What? So, it's kind of a bit of a lie. Fake dating. I love a good fake dating romance so hard. And I really, really did like the first book of the series, so I am excited to continue on. I think there's going to be at least one more book in the series, and I'm like loving it. I'm so excited. Also on deck is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. So this one is very much a romance based in fandoms. So Marcus, he is an actor in this like fantasy show and secretly writes fan fiction about the show to like, get out his frustrations. He has frustrations about how the story's being told. He's like, why don't we do this? So he's a secret fan fiction writer and very popular. And then you have April. She's a plus size woman. And one day she's like, you know what? I'm going to stop hiding the fact that I write fan fiction and I do cosplay. I'm putting it on the internet. So, she does. And as a plus size woman in today's world, well, it doesn't always go over fantastically. So there's a lot of hate and Marcus sees it and he's like, hey, April, we're going on a date. I think you're cool. And so they do go on a date and it kind of becomes apparent that April writes fan fiction as a certain like screen name, and she and Marcus are really good friends on these fandom forums, and like, oh no, like there's a secret involved. So it's like fantasy, fandoms, cosplay, nerdity, and I love it. Nerdity? I've made up a word. It's kind of like nudity, but with nerds. I like it. So the nerdity of it all, I love it, and I'm very excited to read this one. I'm also going to be reading The Roommate by Rosie Danon, and I have heard such good things about this book. So there's this woman, her name is Clara, and she's kind of, very waspy, socialite kind of thing, and kind of gets tricked into moving across the country by like a childhood crush, and she does, and then she moves in with this guy named Josh who she doesn't know. Bait and switch. He's like, okay, well, I guess I live with a stranger now. And it's this guy Josh who's super nice, and eventually, you Google people, especially if you're living with them, and she's like, Josh has done lots of porn. He's a porn star. And so, that's a bit jarring to just find out on your own. And then a sexy summer romp ensues. Basically, she is kind of learning that female desire is not a bad thing. And Josh is like, I agree completely. Let's bang it out. And, love. I'm very excited for it. I feel like, sex workers get such a bad rap, especially in like literature and just in life. So I'm excited for this take on it. I think it's gonna be really fun. Also on deck, I have The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. And I just love Lady Scoundrels. I'm so into this. You have this woman, her name's Cecilia. She kind of is part of this society, the Wisteria Society for Lady Scoundrels. And she is a scoundrel, she's a thief, and I'm like, ooh, I love a good scoundrel, and a lady one at that. I'm loving it already. And then you have Ned, sometime assassin, probably a nice guy who also happens to kill people. And he gets hired to kill Cecilia by this bad guy. And he's just like, but like I like Cecilia a lot. I think she's a cool lady. I don't really want to kill her. And so, they're going to join forces against the bad guy. So there's scoundrels, there's like murder plots, and also romance. It's got a lot of things that I'm super into. I'm very excited for this one. I am also going to be reading Isn't It Bromantic by Lisa K. Adams, and this is the latest entry in the Bromance Book Club series. I love this series. Okay, so it's this group of dudes, and they read romance novels in order to like better understand the women in their lives and have more successful relationships. So I'm like, okay, great. No toxic masculinity allowed. I love it. And this one is following the Russian Vladimir. Vlad has been kind of a tertiary character for a lot of the books, kind of the butt of a lot of jokes though. Like he's a Russian, he plays hockey, and he's allergic, and he's very lactose intolerant. So there's been a lot of fart jokes at his expense in this. But now he's the romantic lead. I'm sure there'll be less cheese-related incidents, or maybe not. I'll find out when I read this. But the thing about Vlad is that he had a wife. He has a wife. And it's not a great relationship. It's this woman, Elena. And I think it's kind of getting to the point in the relationship where Vlad's like, you know what? I deserve someone who loves me. Like, I'm not a bad dude. Like, I try really hard. And you just don't love me back the way I want. And, you know, so I'm thinking it's kind of, he's getting ready to move on. But obviously they're going to, like, fall in love for real. Because, like, I doubt this is a book about a divorce. You know what I mean? But I'm excited. There's going to be peril. And romance and the romance book club. I love it. I'm so excited. I am also going to read A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. And this one is like killing the Dark Academia game. I am so obsessed right now. This is an FF romance. It's Felicity and Ellis. So Felicity, she went to this all-girls kind of school. History of witchcraft involved. And, like, you know, she was poking at some dark magics. Uh-oh, her old girlfriend's dead. She's very sad. You know, she's back at this school. And she meets a new girl, Ellis. And, you know, hey, romance, sparks, cool. Except Ellis is like, hey, I got an idea. Let's go play with black magic. And Felicity's like, oh no, here we go again. So it's definitely like creepy dark academia, witchcraft, FF romance, probably peril and black magic. Like, it's just made of things I love. So I'm so excited for this one. I was thinking about reading it in October, you know, because it's kind of spooky, it's got witches and stuff, but I was like, nah, I need to read it now. Like, I don't have it in me to wait any longer to read this. Last book on my TBR is Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahiran. This is the end of the Serpent and Dove series, and it is a chonker. Like, look at this guy. Oh boy, it's a thick book. This is book 3 of a trilogy. A lot of things have happened to get to this point, but the basic idea here is there is a witch named Lou and a witch hunter named Reed, and they're married. How are these crazy kids gonna work it out? And Lou has an evil mom, and she's trying to destroy the world, and they're like, hey, we gotta stop my mom. And then, like, magic and stuff ensue, and it's kind of in, like, a faux France world. I don't think it's actual France. It's obviously not actual France, but it's very much France, you know what I mean? So there's witches and intrigue and betrayals and evil moms and all kinds of cool stuff. So I love this series in general. The ending of book 2, though, did make me want to curse the author's name a little bit. So I'm like, how are you gonna redeem yourself, Shelby Mahiran? You better do it, because the ending of book 2 was a doozy and not in a good way. Alright, so that's what I have on deck for Smutty September. Who knows what the future holds? I might throw in some additional Smutty delights. I don't know. We'll find out together. Let me know in the comments down below, what are you reading this month? Do you also want to participate in Smutty September? If so, what's your Smutty pick of the month? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon.